Hey, it's summertime. And you know what that means? That means grabbing a nice cold drink and getting caught up on some reading that you've been meaning to get to. So book here from ARPIT, Power Apps. It's really cool. Lisa's book on Copilot Pro and Benedict's book on ALM. So I'm getting caught up in these books. And of course, the other thing, it's that time of year again for the Power Platform release plan. So this is a special episode of the Power Platform Boost podcast where Ulrikke and I are talking about our favorite features of the 2025 release Wave 2. Check it out. Welcome, everyone, to the Power Platform Boost podcast, your weekly source of news and updates from the world of the Power Platform and the Microsoft community with your host, Nick Dolman and Ulrikke Akebek.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Ulrikke, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. It's that two of our favorite times of the year when it comes to this podcast. And I know our listeners love it too. It is time for the release wave, release plan, release something episode.
Release Wave 2 for 2025. 2. And what does that mean? Well, every year there's 2 release note waves. It's the wave 1, which is released in January and contains news and updates from March until October. That's the one that we're currently in. And then in August, they released the wave 2, which is news and updates, features, and new goodies from October to March until March next year. So that's 2025, 2026. And that is the one that we have currently gotten a preview draft version of because we're MVPs. So while we're recording this, we and some Microsoft people have access to this, and hopefully they don't change it until we can release it safely in a week's time. So maybe Nick has to do a lot of editing to edit stuff out that doesn't make the final cut. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. So what we do. Yeah, sorry.
No. Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully I don't have to do a lot of editing. For the most part, I haven't had to do that. I think once or twice there was a few things we had to cut. Like these are constantly evolving. It's not like they're written in stone. As we all know, they evolve. Things get added, things get removed. So the version that you're seeing is going to be the one that gets released today when this episode gets released, and it should align fairly well. Let's hope.
Yeah, and then every time we do this, I tell you up front that you're meant to choose one favorite from each thing. Yep. And every time you insist on going through all the news, and the problem with that is that if you go through all the news and they remove something, you have to do a lot of editing. So I did the same thing to do that favor again this time. Then this time, actually, you said up front, I promised to just choose one. Then I went into your notes after I'd done mine, and there's like 5 from each. So let's see how well you do.
No. Mine is the complete list.
Oh, okay. So you have chosen favorites I can't see which one is your favorite.
I haven't showed you what I chose. I just said, here's the full list. So
okay, because it says Nick's favorite. And then I thought maybe that was Nick's favorite. But you know.
Oh no, I see. Okay. No. No. That's just everything so we don't forget anything, or this reminds me, or
so you aren't going to go through the whole list.
I'm going to wait for you to tell me your top pick. I'll tell you my top pick, and then maybe we'll highlight the others, and then vice versa.
Okay. This is what we have full control. We've done this so many times. We can just do what we always do. Okay.
This is our editing meeting, live recording editing meeting. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Power Apps. So the focus for Power Apps for this wave is to build with a team of agents. It's 3 things. It's build with a team of agents. This is essentially Plan Designer, that you have kind of an enterprise-ready solution that includes apps and agents and reports and sites and a lot of other things. You have Agent Apps, which is beautiful apps for humans and agent collaboration. This is the agent feed capability that you'll have in Power Apps. We'll be able to have an agent feed on the left. We saw that in at Ignite and at EPBC as well. how you'll have a feed that allows you to kind of check the work that the agents have done while you've been sleeping or drinking coffee. And also if there's need for a human in the loop, that's where you'll kind of get prompted by your team of agents for tasks that you have to be hands-on with. And also enterprise-ready vibe coding. Vibe coding! Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's in the release notes. It's official. Yeah. It's no longer kind of a weird term. It's now a term used by Microsoft in the official release notes, people.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, so you'll have app agent creates enterprise data connected and experiences. So this is generated pages or code apps, which generated pages is kind of a prompting kind of app type experience. And then code apps is where you use pro code first, usually using Visual Studio, GitHub Copilot, for instance, to create your apps. So a lot of fun stuff. And then, I read this and I'm super excited because there's so many new juicy things that I can't wait to kind of do. And then I scroll into it and then I go, because there's nothing. There's nothing. That's not a single freaking thing that is new. It's all old. There's nothing in there. Everything in there has a private preview from 2020 that we've already had, and then the news is that it's GA in September, October 2025. So it's all old stuff. It doesn't touch on any of the three things that I just talked about.
Well, no, in Power Apps, there are some new things. As we go through the list, there are a few things that I know that it's going to be new. And again, we said this before. This is because Microsoft is traditionally, the big announcements are coming out at Build or Ignite. Some of these big conferences, I'm sure there'll be some other big announcements at Power Platform Community Summit. So this is where we used to find out stuff. This is more, hey, we've written down the stuff we've already talked about at Build or Ignite. So you're right. There isn't those big whoa moments that we used to get, but there are a few little nuggets in here that I noticed of going, okay, so they're announcing this now, or this is new. So there's a few things that I saw that I wasn't aware of, and maybe it was announced. I just didn't see it because there's so much info coming out.
Yeah, that's true. So this is more of a structured overview of the things that are coming that are kind of major updates. And also I looked into did you check the dynamic? Let me take a breather and start again. With this Power Platform specific release notes wave, we also get one specific for Dynamics 365 apps. And also there was another one this time, which was what is it called? Something.
Yes, the Copilot something. That's a new technical term. Okay. It is the role-based Copilot offerings. So these are the things like the Dynamics Sales Copilot, like those Copilots that are already baked into the other Dynamics 365 first-party apps, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So our focus would really just be on the Power Platform today, right?
Yeah, but my point was that when I looked through the Dynamics one, it was the announcements or the nuggets that they gave for their products there is so many, just like so many, and on a very detailed level. It was like, yeah, there's a new button here, there's a new grid view for this is a new option you can do. And so, I mean, the level was very granular compared to what we have here. I think that's also playing into this, because what I see from the announcements in our release note is that there are much more high level things. They're not so user interface specific. And also that comes with, I think, the rapidness of the development on this platform compared to maybe the business applications.
Yeah. Probably. So many things happening. And it's a lot of the, like our stuff is probably the more foundational stuff. So it's a little bit more broad-based versus the Dynamics 365 stuff, where a lot more user-focused. So there's probably a lot more of these little things that kind of stand out.
Yeah. So I think maybe the team has worked with these release waves a little bit different, because, last episode we talked about now you can export a designer plan as a PDF, for instance. That would be a release wave nugget in the Dynamics 365 release wave, but it's not even mentioned in ours, right? So the levels are completely different. So that's something to be aware of when you're actually going into this. This reminds me more of a book of news kind of level of abstraction, really, more than what we used to have, which was much more granular.
Right. But let's be fair to all the people that are listening to this, hopefully, or probably a lot of them, to keep up on all the build announcements, all the Ignite announcements, all the LinkedIn feed of, oh, we just announced this, we just announced this. Hopefully with this episode, we're going to go through, our top level picks on the list. And hopefully there's things that you're not aware of, or you might have only heard briefly. And we can hopefully dive into a little bit of a few of these things to give you some context. So as much as we're kind of talking a little bit high level of this, hopefully you do find a lot. I think these episodes I find very valuable for myself. I hope you do as well.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so I'll let you choose your favorite first on this one, just because I just poo-pooped all over the whole thing. So let me see. I have chosen one thing, but I think it's the same one you picked. So let me see what you picked first.
I think a lot of the no, I would have to say the enhanced form filling and model-driven apps. There's two items here, smart paste and enhanced form filling. I built my own model-driven apps that I use on a day-to-day basis. This has been my bread and butter for like 20 years. And I always know that filling out these forms, people find them very tedious. And that's always they gravitate back towards, you know what, I can just fill it in an Excel sheet faster. But you're missing out on all the things that you're keeping in Dataverse will give you. So with the ability to smart and paste into forms, like you have a document, you can paste it into the form, it'll fill out the form for you. Other enhancements, there is that auto form where it begins to fill out on your behalf. Depending on the use case, some of that's kind of like, no, Copilot, you're drunk, versus other times like, okay, yeah, you're thinking what I'm thinking. So you get some of those experiences. So those are the things that I'm kind of excited about evolving to give the end users a better experience in these apps. That's my pick.
Yeah, and I'm with you all the way. It's just I was so disappointed and grumpy that they couldn't come up with something better that I refused to choose any of them. So actually what I chose was the one thing for Power Apps that was not already announced, which is something we'll get private preview of in September 2025. And they're very optimistic on their own behalf because they think it's going to be GA the month later. Have you ever seen a feature from Microsoft being ready, going from private preview to GA in a month?
Very rarely. I can't, off the top of my head, I'm not sure if there might have been a few Power Pages things, but behind the scenes, it was, it'd been worked on for years. So nothing flips that fast.
No, and that goes for this as well. This is not really new. It's just that it's an enhancement and it's very granular as well. It's the toggle to sync offline database with the server only Wi-Fi for Canvas apps, which is the ability for you now in device status page on your app. There's a new setting where you can actually choose whether data should be synced over mobile or cellular networks or only Wi-Fi. So this is it's one of those granular small little things, but it's a game changer for a lot of app developers, which this is one of those things where Canvas app didn't have this capability. Would mean that they can use the product, for instance. So these kinds of things are very good for the product as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. Exciting.
And they talk about other things like the streamlined header navigation. This is always being evolved. The headers evolved over the years. So again, that's just evolving with the times as well. And then the other one, visualize data with Copilot. I think that's already sort of been in play before with Power BI and things like that. Things that aren't mentioned, but I think because they're in their last release wave, that on terms of Power Apps, and you mentioned this earlier, things like Plan Designer, the generative pages, code apps, that to me, that's the focus on Power Apps from my side. I know it's not in the release wave, but this is what I'm diving into. There's new ways to deliver applications in Power Apps. And I think this is just reflective on, the market with AI and all these other tools out there that I'm diving into, playing around with. I talked on an episode earlier about using Replit. There's Firebase Studio from Google. There's Cursor. There's Lovable. There's all these other platforms. And I think that's helping because that's driving the Power Apps development and things like that too. So it's going to be pretty interesting in terms of building Power Apps. A year's time, I'm going to be interesting what our conversation is going to be like in terms of building Power Apps. Are we still going to be dragging, forms and lists, or are we going to be going a whole different way of building apps and what we can do with it? So it is exciting. I'm pretty keen to see where this is going.
Yeah, and me too. And I see that same thing goes for Power Pages. There's a reason why there isn't a lot of new updates for Power Automate. I think these products at the end of the day will kind of merge into, and we'll see some of that now and talk about Power Pages as well, how actually we're seeing small little signs and steps already for how these applications are now, or sorry, products are now gradually kind of moving towards one another, and also moving towards one another towards the pro code and the vibe coding space. So this is so exciting. Okay, so let's move on to Power Pages then. The highlights of Power Pages.
First.
Oh, yay! Okay. Do you want to do the run-in of the focus for Power Pages? Did you prepare? Because that's usually my thing, but you can have a stab at it if you want.
Okay, let me try not to screw this up. So I think with Power Pages, obviously security and compliance agent for admin. So security, of course, is so big in Power Pages because you're not building an app for your internal staff. You're building an app for the entire world, and you're exposing things like Dataverse. You're giving access to external users to use agents through Power Pages. So obviously security has to be huge. This has to be watertight in this whole new, this whole new world. So you're going to see a lot of security like that. So security and compliance, security agent. Also in terms of the user, the convergence. So this could be one of our favorite features, so we'll kind of skim over that. But in terms of development as well, because like we talked about in Power Apps, development in Power Pages, there's a lot of new things coming and things they're working on that's just blowing my mind. So of course, you have security ties into that as well. So we talk about things like code security scan, and also ALM. ALM for Power Pages has evolved so much over the last 2 years. It's kind of night and day difference. Deploying Power Pages in the old days was a real pain in the butt, but now it's getting easier and easier, and even to do other things with the Pack CLI, I'm pretty excited about. And of course, administration and governance is also a big thing, which is, kind of the boring side of it, but also so important. And even that's getting easier for the admins to manage. And we talked about that in our last episode as well. And then, things with Design Studio. Again, we're more, I think there's more stuff about Visual Studio Code than there is about the Design Studio itself. So that again shows where things are moving. So what was the one thing that really stood out to you here?
So the one thing that stood out to me was the unify Power Pages authorization by merging web roles with Dataverse security roles, which may not seem like a big thing to most people, but to me, this is huge. So
yes,
specifically what this is when a user logs in through a Power Pages site, it is a contact. Period. There's no way around it. You have to use that contact. And also the way that we secure to see it's the authorization for who can see what kind of content. It is web roles. That is kind of the security roles. Now, what's going to happen is every single contact is going to be linked to a user, a system user that we have in Dataverse. So if you use a Canvas app and you log into a Canvas app, you are then authenticated as a system user or a user. Those two things will be linked out of the box synchronously, automatically. And also all web roles that are used for the contact in through Power Pages will be linked to Dataverse security roles. So there's a one-to-one between the user and the contact, and also the web roles to the security roles, which means in extension, what you'll do is when a Power Pages person is logging in through a Power Pages site, they're not just authorized through that layer at the front, the client side. This also it means that security-wise, they're authenticated through to on the Dataverse side, which means that you remove a layer. There's a layer that we can now remove in terms of data retrieval, and it opens up so much in terms of security, performance, and also traceability. Because if a user on your site, so you have a contact logging into Power Pages, they make a change on a record, we could not see on data in the Dataverse side which user that was. It would say system user, and sometimes you would rename it to portal user, just to give some insights. That can now be the system user. So you'll actually have a completely new kind of level of traceability and logability, and also in terms of security and governance, that's huge. So, and also another thing, we have struggled to identify if there's, because Power Pages can be used for both external and internal users. And the last year, I've seen such an increase in people asking me how to use Power Pages for internal users, because it's cheaper. For $2 per login is cheaper than having premium licenses for internal users. So you have a very specific use case, actually more and more people using Power Pages instead of model-driven apps. And in that scenario, now what you can do is you can actually connect that person logging in through your internal site directly to that site, that user, system user, which is also connected to your Entra ID. And that is also something that's very new. And also that means that we can now check and have a different way of identifying if someone is an internal user or an external user when they log in as well. So suddenly you have a whole new set of mechanisms here that will just, yeah. And also, when you put agents, right, because now you soon have the ability to deploy or to publish agents to Power Pages sites from Copilot Studio. When someone authenticates through that agent, they can authenticate through this security model instead of as a contact. That is a game changer. That means suddenly they have access to everything on the inside that they should have access to depending on the security roles, which adds another layer. And I'm just so excited about this. So for me, the whole release wave thing, I've been waiting for this, and just to see this pop up, it just made my day. This is my favorite over all of the things in this whole thing.
Yeah. This is what stood out to me too. Like, it was one of these things when they first talked about it, we're going to merge like, well, not merge, but kind of have a link between contacts and system users. When I saw that, that information come out like a while back, I'm like, okay, it kind of reminds me back in the old ADX days, there was a way you could actually tie a user to a contact, like back, and it was something, okay, we're just going back to that again. But then once the brain, the gears started turning, I'm like, well, this means this means it. And all the things that you listed kind of came up in my mind, especially with the traceability. How many times have we had customers come to us and say, we want to know if Bob logs in and Bob changes something through the portal, we want to know that Bob did it and not the portal user that did it. How can we track that? And there was ways, but it was always a little bit clunky and workaround. This eliminates that layer. So even just that piece out of so many other things to me is one of the great fallout of this new feature.
Yeah.
And
it
was so it was my favorite as well. So my second favorite was the ability, a smaller one in ALM, to create and delete sites using the PAX CLI. So this to me, again, helps with the whole ALM in terms of provisioning Power Pages sites. If you wanted to provision a development site, you had to go through some manual steps to make that happen and set up an environment, deploy the solution. And then once the solution's deployed, you had to go in and create the site based on that metadata, different things like that. This to me helps automate that more. So again, we're getting to that point where we can, if we need to build individual developer environments, here's a script, run the script, boom, there you go. Of course, we have the GitHub integration and all this other things happening. Like, all of these pieces aren't perfect yet, but they're coming together. So eventually I'll be able to say, oh, you're a developer, you're working on it here, boom, you're going to check out this stuff, do your code, don't interfere with what I'm doing, and we'll be able to nicely merge it all back together again. All automatically. I know that's a dream world, but I think we're getting closer to that. So the little things like this, like the PAX CLI, be able to create and delete sites through that is helping move that forward.
Yeah, and doesn't this also tie into the code, the single page application thing that you'll now be able through the PAX CLI to create your site?
Yes.
As part of that as well. Without that, you wouldn't be able to start off with code. So this is kind of one of the enablers also from the PAX CLI perspective to enable pro coders to start in Visual Studio Code and not having to provision a Power Pages site from the interface first and then kind of start developing it. So I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah, and then the other quick things, code security scan. So you're writing code, or your good GitHub Copilot's writing code. You'll be able to scan that. It's using a service. It's listed in the service they're using, but that's make sure your code is secure. And then, of course, the security agents and admin trust agents. So threat detection, DDoS attacks, other things like that could be attacking your Power. This is the benefit of using Power Pages from Microsoft, because with these tools, these are things that you don't have to worry about. That's always a question. If we use Power Pages, is it secure? what's happening on the security side. There's a white paper that's a couple years old now that's still very valuable that I give out to clients in terms of the security of Power Pages, but this takes it to the next level because now you have AI monitoring that site and letting you know if there are things happening that shouldn't be happening. So this is exciting as well for Power Pages.
Yeah. And we touched on that on the last episode as well. You have that new kind of the security space or center or whatever it was called. And then you have the security and compliance agent for admins and the security agent. There's agents now that, like you said, they're going to go out and monitor these things for you. And also I had to look something up because you said DDoS, yeah. And I didn't know what that was. So maybe someone else doesn't know. It's that denial of service. It's overwhelming the servers with traffic to jam it. That's kind of what those attacks are. And that is not only for Power Pages, but it specifically said that in the Canvas app thing as well with the enhanced security thing. From what I can tell just by kind of reading through this, that is now a very common thing. It's growing. Those kinds of attacks are very now trending.
Well, because all these hackers and the bad people in the world, guess what? They're using something called AI to enhance their efforts for phishing and everything like that. So it was a big, whack-a-mole. You're fighting hackers and whatever. Now these hackers have tools. So how do you fight fire? You fight fire with fire. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Are you ready to move on to Power Automate?
Yes. Let's go through the process and move on to the next thing, like a Power Automate flow. Flow into the next one.
Woo! Pun. Wee! All right. Okay, so for Power Automate, the focus for this release wave is two things. So it's AI first, dynamic, multimodal, and self-healing automations. We've heard that before, and I still don't believe it. I know, Zen. With built-in AI through generative actions and intelligent document processing. They've used ChatGPT to write this whole thing. There's so many. Haven't you seen it? The end dashes are everywhere, and also the epic. There's epic journeys in here, Nick. Come on. I mean, hello. All right. So rich human in the loop experiences. But these are the intelligent document processing. This is AI Builder things, because AI Builder got a lot of new news and updates this spring with, for instance, things like document processing. So they've added new templates to AI Builder, which has very specific use cases things. And then those are, of course, a part of Power Automate. So that's what that is. And then also enterprise ready. The new process map that we talked about a few episodes ago, which blew my mind completely, and I absolutely love it. And I use it all the time, which allows you to see kind of parent and child flows and workflows in kind of a process map kind of things to see where data flows and how that works. It's absolutely so fun. So yeah, that is kind of the focus for this round. And I will let you talk about your favorite first, because this is again one of those a little bit underwhelming. News.
And this is something we've talked about, and I think it exists in preview, but it's the expression creation editing, because that is the one thing that always trips me up, is writing expressions and trying to cut and paste. And I have a OneNote full of samples that I copied over the years.
Because it's just, it's just natural language, and it's, low code coding functions. It should be so intuitive. Come on.
You need a PhD. I've written assembly code. I've written assembly code that's easier to read than
I know.
Freaking
Can we just write JavaScript in there? I've been so happy. I don't know. It's
just give me JavaScript. Give me even Power Effects in there for. Anyways. So we're ranting, and now we don't need to rant because we're going to have a Copilot that's going to help us with natural language.
I use it absolutely. I kid you not. I use that every single day. I've become so lazy. I use it every day. Is it GA?
In December. It will be December. It will be GA.
I use that in production.
Christmas. There's your Christmas present.
Production. Yay! No, and actually, no, for something I use so much, and it's not in production. I use it in dev, of course, and then it's provisioned in production. But yeah, this is fantastic, phenomenal. And I feel like I'm learning, but I don't think I'm learning because I'm using it for the same thing again and again. So I don't think it sticks, but it creates better expressions for sure. than what I did in the past. So yeah. And yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, what's your favorite? That was mine.
Okay, so so now I'm going to do the thing that you're not allowed to do, because I have a favorite, but then I have something related to what you said that I want to say first. Can I do that?
Yeah, go for it.
You need to let Hudson in, or open the door for Hudson. Yeah, I know. He doesn't come in. He just wants the door to be open. Hey, Hudson.
He wants water.
Hey,
you talk and I'll get water.
Okay, I'll talk. So what Nick was talking about was the expression helper that you get. But also there's a news that is related to this, which is debug easily into condition actions at runtime. It's going to be GA in December 2025. So that's a few months away. Did you hear what I said? Debug easy into condition actions at runtime. Doesn't say
is this the self-healing stuff?
No. So this feature will simplify the debugging experience of the condition action after you run your flows, because you can have you have a condition, and then you can have multiple rows in that condition, and it will render true or false, but it will only render true or false. And when you run your flow, you can't really go in and see what happened, which one of these lines failed or succeeded, or was there a difference, what happened to each one of them. Now you can, after you run your flow and it fails or it validates as true or succeeds, you can go in and see, okay, what line, what condition was it that came through or failed, or what's going on, which is great.
Perfect.
Which was not my favorite, but yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's great, because debugging flows is a pain in the butt sometimes, as much as it is and it isn't, because you have the little X, but you're right. You go in like, okay, and you look at the message and it's all this big mess of XML and whatever else. So
But yeah, my favorite was actually, because I was so underwhelmed, I chose the build desktop flows with record with Copilot. So and this is desktop flows. So it's not your cloud flows, but it's the RPA one, which now you have been able to do this for a while. It was public preview in September 2024, and it will be GA December 2025. So the news is that it will be GA. And I was in Agnes's session about desktop flows at EPBC, and he talked about this and how it is so not done. It is very unreliable. It isn't working as it should, and it has a lot of errors to it. So to see that they're actually still investing in it to the point where it will be GA in December is very, very good. But it also depends on your feedback. And I don't know if you've seen this, but I see Microsoft actually reaching out saying, we cannot GA this until we get more feedback. So you need to give us feedback and for us to be able to validate this. I think in the last PowerAddicts Pulse with Eliza, she actually said that we are waiting to GA this, but because we don't have the feedback we need more people to try it out and to give us feedback. So it's on us as well to push these dates forwards. If you want to see something kind of progress a little bit, it's maybe a good idea to give more feedback. Just a little hint.
Yeah. And we should maybe at some point, let's I don't have it in front of me, but we should probably give people the channels of how to provide feedback. Like there is the feedback website and stuff, but there are other ways to provide that feedback. So you can, if you're trying something, it doesn't work, a proper place to funnel that so they can take a look at it.
Yeah, and also I'm told, and you may know this better than I do, that they actually do look at the telemetry behind the thumbs up and thumbs down and those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did do the build flows by recording with Copilot. But it's the same thing. I found it very clunky. Every time I would click somewhere, I would be constantly re-editing the steps to fix.
But the new one with Copilot is supposed to also be smart, so that if you kind of connect it, so if you're scraping a website, right, and you find a submit button, and then next release, they move that button around, then it's supposed to be smart enough to actually recognize that the button has moved and then continue with your flow so that it doesn't break. But it is good in theory, but from what I can tell and from what I hear from other MVP colleagues, it doesn't yet that well.
Yeah. But like everything, it takes time and the feedback as well. It'll be interesting. This to me always confuses me with computer use that we'll probably talk about in a bit. But let's move on then to Copilot Studio. So
The kind of the focus for Copilot Studio was a bit long and tedious, so I kind of made a little summary. Do you want me to go through it?
Yeah, if you made a summary, perfect, because I'm just looking at it and it's like long and tedious.
Yeah. So the first thing I noticed was that it looks like it's going to be a tighter integration with Microsoft 365's Copilot. Yeah. We are now in the context of Microsoft Copilot Studio, which is the studio you use to create Copilot Studio agents and chats. Microsoft 365 Copilot is kind of the same, but also different. It lives in Microsoft 365, but from the release note, it looks like the studio experiences are moving closer together because you can create agents from Microsoft 365 Copilot as well. And those two are kind of different experiences. Now it looks like they may be coming together. Which is very good. And then it talks about Copilot tuning, which will provide capacity for fine-tuned and trained models based on specific data, ensuring that agents have timely access to relevant information, which is very good, which means that you can tune your Copilot to be more your organization specific in its answers and the work that it does. Agent teams, enhanced governance capabilities, monitoring and evaluation of each agent's performance. It's also something they're investing in. And then pro code capabilities. So this feature enables agents to created in Copilot Studio to be developed by makers while being edited and managed by professional software teams. So it's about kind of enabling complete reimagination of your business application landscape, which is also ChatGPT talk. But there you go.
Yes.
And then, of course, bring your own model. So Copilot Studio will offer the enhanced integration models and services from Azure AI Foundry, which includes now, I think it's 1,100 different models. And you can also create your own model, bring that into the fold. This was announced at Ignite in May. And this means that Copilot Studio agents can leverage the full range of Microsoft AI technology landscape. So there's really no limitations to what you can do. But again, there's no news. Most of these announcements was public preview from May 25 and GA October 25, except for one thing. But I'll let you go with your favorite first.
Well, the one that stood out to me was again, we talked about the building flows with Copilot and Power Automate Desktop, but then they're also talking about computer use, which instead of building flows, we're building agents, but kind of using the computer use. And the concept computer use is not a Microsoft term. It's kind of used industry-wide. So there's other players in the market that are creating computer use applications. So this is Microsoft's version of it. Again, I'm hoping it will work a little bit better than maybe the Copilot desktop flows now. Maybe it's using the same technology. Maybe it's just the same thing under a different wrapper. I don't know. But the idea here is it's more than just Power Platform stuff. It's just doing everything on the computer. So going into those older user interfaces, going to things that don't have APIs, but even from a fact of just building an agent. Okay, I need an agent to do this. And you have to go through in Copilot Studio and kind of build out those actions or build out this. This is a way of just kind of following along a little bit and kind of recording that. So that's my understanding of that. Like I said, it's one of these things I'm cautiously optimistic about because I think this could really help move us into more and more people to use agents if I can actually go through and get it to do something, but something that I do every day myself. But now if I kind of walk through an agent, here's what you need to do. It's kind of like training a new employee. Here are the steps. Here's what you need to do. Here's where you need to click. Okay, here you got it. You got the steps. You wrote them down. You did good. Okay, now you go do it. And then I can go and do my other work. So we'll see.
I'm so glad you said employee because I thought you were going to say monkey, but you didn't. So that's very good.
No.
Okay, can you explain to me what the difference between RPA and computer use is? Because I'm confused.
No, I don't know.
It is the same thing. Okay,
to me, you're right. It is the same.
ChatGPT.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not sure if I can talk to ChatGPT while we're recording, so I typed because usually I would just talk to it. Okay, so regular computer use, not fake. Or log into your. Well, come on, smart not smart. Okay, so it's saying that one is AI enabled and one is not. So this is manual, doing stuff manually. I don't think. So computer use, you driving, RPA self-driving bot doing your chores. So I don't think it, you at the keyboard. So I'm asking not me at the keyboard, but computer use with AI, Copilot Studio. Now we're talking. You're asking about the difference between RPA and AI-powered computer use, like with Copilot Studio, right? Let's pop the hood and look at how these compare. So it's telling me that robot process automation, RPA, it mimics the human interactions with computers. It's structured, it's role-based. It doesn't think, it just follows the instruction that you gave it. For instance, move all these files from a right, that's the monkey. Or the junior employee. AI-powered computer use, Copilot Studio, etc. It uses more natural language understanding, machine learning, and reasoning. It's great at unstructured tasks like understanding your intent, summarizing emails, answering questions, and it feels like you're talking to a smart assistant, programming a robot. Hey, Copilot, summarize the last 5 expense reports and draft a reply to our financial team. Right. Okay. So the difference between them are kind of the one needs it's like comparing a classic Power Automate workflow, cloud flow, and an agent, which one you give a task or a goal and then it goes off through the tool using the tools it has at its disposal. Whereas the other one is do this, do this, do this, do that. And if this, then that. So that is probably the difference.
Your monkey, your one's your monkey, and one is your high performing executive assistant.
Yeah, I don't think it's politically correct to say monkey, but we're not, and we're just us, so we can say whatever we want.
Oh, we're gonna get canceled over this, anyways.
Yeah, we still haven't seen if we're renewed as MVPs yet. So yeah, everyone's waiting. I actually saw the other day someone made a joke that they made a Spotify playlist for MVPs waiting for their renewals, because all we do all day is just sit and press refresh on the thing. That's funny. MVPs, horrible people.
Okay.
I need to find my notes. I know. If I get renewed, I'll put mine up there somewhere. I'm gonna have a shelf thing on the back like everyone else has. So I can have all the brag wall like everyone else. Hey, I chose something else. Because again, I am grumpy teenager mode, and I thought I would choose the one thing which is actually new. When I read through this, I was in a foul mood. I was like, "Give me news, or I'm not interested." So I don't care if this is the most important thing. I just care that it's new.
Give me the new stuff.
Poor people. We can't call this the highlights. We're just gonna go with Ulrikke's teenage rant things. Right.
You know what? I should edit in that scene from Harry Potter when Dudley's going, last year I got 34 presents and now I only have 33.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, do that. Okay, more editing for Nick. Okay, so my top pick, my favorite thing was test and deep, and this actually does get me excited. And we talked about this before. So now test and debug agent action in Copilot Studio. So it's going to be GA November 2025, and it's not new, but it's kind of new. So this was something that Kendra demoed at Ignite or at the Powerful Devs conference. I can't be sure. But remember, I was so overly excited about how you can now you have a Copilot Studio agent, you create it, or a bot or a chat, and then you want to test it. And so you ask, and you tell it, I need you to test yourself. And I was like, I can do that. I can test myself. And then it creates a test script for it to test itself. And then it goes, I need test data. And you go, yes, you do. Can you create your own test data? Yes, I can. And then then you go, now I'm ready to be tested. And like, can you test yourself? And it goes, sure, I can. And then it tests itself as well. All those things. Enhance testing experience by providing clear and actionable testing information. You can easily understand and implement the necessary steps without confusion. This is one thing. Then the second thing is debugging and recommendations. It will features such as plugin run history, inline recommendation, and workflow visibility are invaluable. So this is what you get insights into when you debug and test your Copilot Studio agent. And also the last one, simulated test data. Creating a set of test data allows you to verify the functionality of your actions in a controlled environment. So this is crucial, and this is really where the juice is in this announcement, I think, because this is where you actually get that tested and you're able to test it and see the results of your agent before you publish it, which is really valuable. And also, Copilot Studio does not run credits until you publish it in a production environment. So it is free of charge until you do that. For now. Who knows? Okay. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so Dataverse, so the next things are, so the last kind of product on the lineup is Microsoft Dataverse, but also we have news and updates for Microsoft Power Platform Governance and Administration, which is not listed in the top as a topic, but it's still here. And then we have a list of deprecations that we should look at. So do you want to do the kind of focus areas for Microsoft Dataverse?
Yeah, I can do that. I should have, while you were asking Copilot stuff, I should have queued that up. But basically, it's like everything else. Dataverse, the overview. For those, of course, everybody knows Dataverse, the trusted low-code data platform where we build everything on top of, including like Copilots, applications, automations, all the fun stuff. Of course, the Dynamics 365 products, a lot of them sit on top of Dataverse as well. So of course, Dataverse for agents, build autonomous agents, human-in-the-loop capabilities, especially from Copilot Studio, and also broader Power Platform ecosystem. And of course, Dataverse is the foundational platform. Dataverse search. Yeah, so investment area. Oh yeah, big one here. We've already talked about this. This keeps blowing my mind. Data Model Context Protocol, the MCP server. When I first saw that being announced, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I started playing with it and I thought this is actually very cool. And then I saw a demonstration this past week on MCP server. There is a blog post that we'll talk about in our next episode about this. MCP servers, this is the next big thing. They mentioned it here in the overview, not so much in the new things because it's already been out there. This is a game changer, I think, in terms of talking to Dataverse. It just does so many things. Obviously, there's things around that. I know we'll talk about the news and updates in our next episode, but Nathan Rose had a post this morning that really gave a really great overview of Dataverse MCP. So before we talk about that next time, do check out that post if you can find it. Of course, other things, AI for business and operational data, of course, prompt columns and things that we talked about in our last episode, enterprise data and Copilot, extending Copilots through knowledge and action. So again, it's huge. Just overall, there's Dataverse. A lot of this stuff kind of spins and comes from Dataverse. So
it's really positioning Dataverse as the foundation of everything, right? So it's Dataverse always been there, and like you said in the beginning, it's not that it's new, but it's just kind of solidifying Dataverse as the foundational base layer of everything is built on Dataverse, which also, of course, in turn is built on Azure, which kind of means we're going full circle.
Right. So what was your favorite? Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to touch on something because it says in the description, while Copilot Studio comes to the built-in Dataverse, such as via Dataverse connections and plugins exposed as APIs or as MCP server, they're two distinct plugin systems, which are different in architecture and in purpose. And this I didn't realize because I'm not as pro-codey as I want to think. So this was kind of, I don't know, it stood out to me. So I wanted to kind of rephrase it for everyone. These Copilot plugins extend the conversational abilities of an AI copilots and agents via APIs. So the Copilot plugin, whereas the Dataverse plugin are C# components that run in a sandbox process with the Dataverse and are used to enforce business logic directly within Dataverse. So because we've had Dataverse plugins is what we refer to as plugins. So if I talk to Thomas Sanser and I say plugin, this is what he thinks about Dataverse plugins, right? Old thing that can talk to your data. Now, Copilot plugins aren't the same thing at all. They're two completely different things. The Copilot plugin is MCP server supported and has the conversational abilities of AI copilots and agents via the APIs. So just wanted to highlight those two different things for people, because that cleared up a lot of things in my head going, because you read plugins and you think, it's the same thing. It's not. So making sure people understand the difference between a Dataverse plugin and the Copilot plugin when we talk about MCP server for Dataverse, which can be a bit confusing. So yeah, it stood out to me. So I thought maybe I'd bring it up for other people who didn't really get that to begin with. So I'll let you go first because I need to clear my throat.
Right. So along with that, so my top pick, it's not listed, but we talk about MCP servers. Like I said, this to me is what my big focus is, what I love about Dataverse right now, and all the potential that could potentially bring. Of course, I have questions on it. There's still some confusion around some of these edge cases about performance. But I also think this opens up the door to interact with Dataverse from not just Power Platform, but other applications as well, which could be pretty interesting. But then we actually talk about what's coming in terms of the release plan. One thing that stood out to me, not that I would say it's my favorite, but it was the restore deleted records. What triggered me on this was pretty interesting because it's about like having a recycle bin of sorts with your Dataverse. We've talked about this. This came up in an episode a few months ago. We talked about this, about deleting records in Dataverse. Like, oh crap, you've deleted records. How do you get it back? There is this feature that's going to be GA in October, apparently, where you be able to restore those deleted records within a certain amount of time. It's interesting for those of you who, let's go in the Wayback Machine around CRM version 3 days, the way the delete used to work for efficiency, when you deleted something, it actually just flagged the record. And then there was a job that ran at midnight and deleted those records in SQL Server. This is back in the on-prem days. If you wanted to hack to have that ability to restore deleted data, you would just shut that service off. So when you had customers that come and said, hey, we deleted data, can we get it back? Yeah, no problem. You would go into SQL and flip the little bit and restore those records. And that actually saved a few of my customers a few times because it not so much that we shut the service off, that it just quit running because it was just one of these things that no one paid attention to. So anyways, that's a little bit of a history lesson. But now going back, this is something that I think it's, in terms of data, it is something like, of course, if we delete a file or something, we can always go back to our recycle bin and get it. So this is something restoring deleted records. So that was something that kind of probably the big thing that stood out to me. Like I said, like you said, there's not a lot of new stuff. It's kind of regurgitating a lot of that's already out there. The other thing, so going on that, the ability to enable third-party publishers to publish agent-ready connectors. Again, I think this sort of begins to tie into the MCP aspects. Again, third-party products being able to talk to Dataverse a lot more actively, I guess, or a lot more cleanly. So those are the things that popped out for me for Dataverse.
Yeah. And for me, it was increased relevance with column selection support, which is private preview in October 2025. Which means that you can configure, is it tabular knowledge? You can configure which columns you want Copilot to access, meaning you can actually then not having to, so you can choose which columns in a table Copilot should have access to or should use. And that has more to do with performance than anything else. It does not have to index and loop through the columns that you do not need it to have access to. So it's about optimizing capacity and avoiding over-indexing of unused columns. It's about query performance and it's about relevancy. So that was kind of what I looked into. Okay, cool. So moving on. Microsoft Power Platform Governance and Administration. In this wave, they will further enrich the admin center experience. And there's a lot of new things here. So they talk about managed security that is tailored specifically for an AI-driven world. They talk about managed governance, delivers comprehensive visibility, granular control, and reduced administrative overhead. It's about enabling IT to kind of get insight into what's going on. Managed operations strengthens operational excellence through dedicated monitoring, altering, and lifecycle management tools, and also managed availability. So enterprise grade reliability and performance for mission critical workloads. And I see this enterprise grade a lot. I've heard Microsoft kind of up their use of the word the last maybe 6 months. And in this, it would be fun to do a kind of a search and find to see how many times that is kind of throughout the whole document, because that keeps coming up as if they have something to prove. And this is something that comes up often in conversations with customers as well. So yeah, is it secure? Enterprise ready? It's like, well, yes, Dataverse new. So it is like they're trying to prove something. So do you have anything specific for the governance things that came up that you wanted to highlight?
What jumped out at me was the zoned governance strategies.
Oh yeah.
That I found pretty interesting because it's kind of, I think right now we're kind of in an all or nothing process. It's like, okay, I need this, I need that. Well, you don't have permission to that. Well, let me do that for you. So you have to pester. Like we've been, I think you and I have been in a situation where we've had to pester the, IT admin on some of the projects we've worked on. And then it's the typical IT response. Well, is there a ticket number for it? And this, and like, just freaking do it and help us out. This way with the zone, like, okay, just give me my sandbox, give me my zone. This is green zone stuff. When we're ready to move to production, then we can move into the other zones. Or this way it gives a lot of flexibility, yet still keeping those gates and the security, which admins absolutely should be concerned about. But this is one of those new things there. So it's great to see that more of these features coming into play where we again can protect the system, yet still have the flexibility. So that's the balance, the flexibility versus security, which is always the tightrope that people are walking. So this just gives more tools in the box to help with that whole process and have a good coherence with both sides of that. And yeah, enterprise ready. It's funny because I've heard that even when I was working at Microsoft, they were always about the battle tested and the enterprise ready. And of course, Power Platform is well, this is just a new thing from Microsoft. No, it's built on technology that's been around time. And then the double-edged sword of that going, well, then that's old tech. Like, we want the new stuff. Like, okay. So, this is at the end of the day, I think there's actually a pretty good balance. Yes, this thing has been battle tested. It is enterprise. It has yes, there might be some legacy to it, but it is solid and it is evolving, and it is evolving with the new things, of course, with the agents and the AI. And I've heard some people sort of say, well, it almost needs to be rebuilt. And I don't think so. I think it's proven and it actually does lend itself well to this new AI
please
world.
Please don't rebuild it. Oh, please.
Oh, no. No, don't.
I just felt that in my body so physically. Just no. And
no.
Please don't say that again.
I won't never.
Okay. I just did a quick search. I just did a quick search in the document. Enterprise, you find it's 45 times.
It is 70-page document.
Ready, enterprise ready, enterprise grade, enterprise everything. So that is, you say that.
So what did I talk? The Restoring Deleted Records GA 2025, October 2025. Enabling third parties to publish agent-ready connectors, GA November 2025.
Oh, okay. So what stood out to me? Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no. So we're talking about governance. Sorry, governments.
Yeah.
A lot of November, October 2025.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this year. Yeah. I mean, well, this is what this is the cycle, right? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the same thing kind of popped out at me. The Delegate Administrative Operations, which is private preview September 25, so it's still not out there, and GA November 25. So it's one of those 1 month or 2 month wonder kids as well. Let's see if they can keep to that schedule. It's about updates to the user interface to accommodate for assignment of privileges and the ability to perform limited administrative operations via API only, which to me, just that one little sentence, update the user interface to accommodate for the assignment of privileges. Yay. Does that mean we get yet another version of the roles assignment thing? Because someone keeps telling me things about that I don't know. And I've tried to use the new one, and then I go back to the old one, and then people keep giving me like, do you know that you can click the row and then all of the privileges update at once? I'm like, wow, you just saved me 4 hours of clicking. And can you imagine what this unlocks if we can then suddenly do these operations via APIs? And then configure environment lifecycle operations in bulk, such as backing up environments, restoring from backup, and deleting environments, and more. Bulk operations from the administrative side. And then also specialization by allowing users to experience a certain expertise in certain areas to manage relevant environments efficiently. This is something we talked about on another episode, I think in May-ish, where you can have expertise in a certain area. This kind of goes back to what you were saying as well. So controlled access, efficiently, scalability, and specialization is kind of the 4 key factors here, which is really exciting. Right. So let's wrap it up. We are now at an hour again. Even though we say we're gonna, these usually are longer, and they're and so we're okay. Deprecations. Anything stood out for you? Did you check the deprecations at all?
It's funny because the deprecations actually are just links to the MS Learn, articles that talk about deprecations, and really, there's nothing that really jumped out to me of anything real. Like, I mean, there are certain things, deprecation of cards for Power Apps. We knew that already. There's a few things, like a lot of the reason why these things are being deprecated is just they're not being used, and probably things that, so if it's something, the deprecations used to mean a little bit more, if there were certain things, like I think of the, not the process flow or the interactive thing that was in like Dynamics 365 that went away.
That we don't even remember anymore.
We don't even remember anymore.
Yeah. No one's using it.
So some of those things had impact. But again, it is good to keep an eye on these things just in case there is something that you happen to be using that might be kind of going out of style. And there's a few things too. There's always the rumors of, well, Microsoft is going to get rid of classic workflows, or they're going to deprecate them. They're, first off, in terms of we've got to realize the difference between deprecation and deletion. Deprecation means they're not going to invest or build on or add new features to. Where a deletion means that feature is physically going to be removed and taken away. So when you talk about things being deprecated, and even then there's certain rules within Microsoft in terms of the timing of these things, the announcements, the ability to have a migration path to move from one to another. So again, if you're working with something and you're worried, you hear a rumor that it's going to be deprecated, that doesn't mean next month it's going to be taken away. Now, that being said, certain things do happen. Multi-factor authentication. I mean, we were given warnings of that for at least 2 years. Some of us, I heard rumors still, some people left it to the last minute. Anyways.
What? Oh, so irresponsible.
Totally.
No, but actually there is, but there's something in here that has just 1 month time, which actually surprised me a little bit. So you have deprecation of support for personal Microsoft Service accounts in PowerAutomate. So starting May 25th, 2025, which is May this month, support for personal Microsoft Service accounts will be deprecated in PowerAutomate. And this deprecation will end on July 26th, which is in a few days, 2025. So that's like 2 months notice. Yeah. So, and what does this mean? Well, actually, and I don't know if this applies to a lot of people, but up until this point, you were able to use your personal Microsoft account with PowerAutomate flows. You will not be able to do this going forward. So you need a work or school account to be able to use your PowerAutomate flows. So if you have a connection in an environment with your personal user, that will stop working. So when you try to sign in, you'll be kind of directed to a workflow that allows you to kind of update and choose another account, and then you'll have to then refresh your connections, to use something else than a personal account. So
that is impactful. Yeah, I don't think that affects me personally, but I think that's gonna bite a few people in the butt. So good for calling that out.
Yeah, well, and also it's kind of, users can't log into the PowerAutomate portal or mobile app with personal email accounts such as Gmail or Outlook.com. User can't create, edit, or manage flows in or on the portal or mobile app. And access to any cloud flows associated with Microsoft Service account are permanently removed, and these cloud flows are deleted. Which means if you have created personal productivity flows on your personal your private personal Microsoft account for personal productivity, which does something, then those flows will actually be permanently removed and deleted once this is realized, which is kind of a short time span. I mean, 2 months.
Yeah, that's because people are on vacation for 2 months. They're going to come back and their flows are going to quit working.
Yeah, and they're going to be deleted. So you can't even kind of sign in with another account and make a copy and update things. It's just going to be removed. So if that applies to you, then be aware. And if we save your butt, please buy us a beer.
Yes. And we'll send you a duck.
Yes. Buy us 2 beers and we'll send you a duck and you'll get a hug next time we see you. Yes. Okay. We are we're way over time. I think we'll just wrap it up here. Yep. Thank you so much for listening to us ramble through the release waves and have a fantastic summer holidays, you guys.
Yes. Talk to you next time.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. And if you like this episode, please make sure to share it with your friends and colleagues in the community. Make sure to leave a rating and review of your favorite streaming service and makes it easier for others to find us. Follow us on the social media platforms and make sure you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening to the Power Platform Boost podcast with your hosts, Ulrikke Åkerbeck and Nick Dolman, and see you next time for your timely boost of Power Platform news.